Well, entrepreneurship is a transformative pursuit that unlocks income generation, creates jobs, as well as drives inclusive community growth. Unfortunately, for many young people, this path is out of reach, largely due to a lack of information about opportunities and resources to start them on their journey. Now, in March, All4YOUth is kicking off awareness around entrepreneurship and the resources available to youth with its hashtag All4Hustlers campaign. So to discuss this further, I'm joined now by the youth lead of Nestlé East and Southern Africa, Noxolo Mnisi. Noxolo, thank you so much for your time and a very good morning too. Let's talk a little bit about this journey of the young entrepreneur, because in many instances it can feel very isolated, it can feel very lonely and even disheartening simply because of the lack of access that is available to young people.
Great, thank you for having me, Faith. And maybe before I dive straight into the journey, for young entrepreneurs, maybe let me explain a little bit in terms of what the Alliance for Youth is. So these are, as much as I represent the Nestlé team, this is a like-minded organization, company, where a couple of companies such as Adcoop, ABB, Nielsen, Publicis, and the Microsoft team, alongside the Nestlé team, have come together to try find ways in helping young people become employable, through different initiatives. So as much as we focus on different pillars, the entrepreneurship pillar is one of those that we've identified as, a key feeder into assisting young people in our communities or in our country, start their own jobs or, use it as side hustles, as we call it, in order to create livelihoods for themselves. Now, this particular campaign that we are talking about here, All4Hustlers, is a campaign that we drive every March to help boost and, support young entrepreneurs who maybe want to get access to industry, but they don't know how to, maybe want to tap into resources that they don't know how to tap into. And through this, what we've done is we've created what we call an e-guide that, takes them on a step-by-step journey in helping guide them through this entrepreneurship pillar. Now, one of the things that you will find in the guide is where do you go look for resources? How do you stabilize your business? How do you start a business and help it be a sustainable business? And, through this initiative, such as the e-guide, alongside some of the other support pillars that we also bring on board, we help train young entrepreneurs in helping guide them through the right direction. So we're quite excited about this because it's a great job creator for a lot of young people in our communities.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. But many a times when it comes to certain campaigns, it's not even just about making available the resources, but it's also about being able to measure impact. So from your perspective, what would be the defining factor of impact? What would make you sleep at night in knowing that indeed you have impacted and instituted tangible change in these young lives?
And I love that question, Faith, because, the Alliance for Youth initially was launched in 2019 November. This is now pre-COVID, and just after the launch, we went straight into COVID times. And, through that period, we really did help a lot of young people, not necessarily just via, entrepreneurship, but we did, support young people through what you call this employment opportunities or employability opportunities. Bringing it back to the impact, we've been around for about 3 years or so, and we do track our impact through, the different initiatives that we tap into. So last year, just to, maybe give you a bit of a view, we supported around about 63,000 young people through the different initiatives, not necessarily just employment and employability, entrepreneurship, and a little bit of agripreneurship as well. So one of the key things that we are intentional about with the Alliance is we don't want to become, just another initiative that does posters and we leave young people where they are. The journey continues. We support them and we hold their hand through the different, parts, depending on the initiative that we are driving at the time. A lot of our young people, such as, those that have benefited through mentorship, those that have benefited through training and coaching, are part of our community that we engage with on a daily. November every year through, Africa Youth Day, we bring them to the platform to engage with our CEOs as well, just so we broaden up the scope and we create the conversations for them, because we don't want it to be just another initiative where corporates, just put money into a certain project and they don't really, measure what that impact would be in the different communities.
Yeah, when it comes to campaigns, what I think becomes a telling factor is that sometimes campaigns are constructed for young people or entrepreneurs without speaking to young people about what the needs are and where the biggest challenges are. Now, you have been with this program for quite an extensive period of time. I mean, though it's the 3 years and COVID obviously had that major interruption, but you've been able to gauge kind of the heartbeat of the youth in this regard. Where's the biggest challenge here? Because I think that there's a unique challenge that young people face that we may not even necessarily be attuned to or even have solutions for yet. But when you're engaging with these youths from across the continent, I know that it's even across the Pacific as well, where are the biggest challenges when it comes to youth entrepreneurship and access?
Faith, I think resources and information are quite critical and key. A lot of young people have great ideas. A lot of the young people that we engage with, especially in the entrepreneurship space, have ideas that could fix a lot of, problems in our economy because they are creative people. But the challenges are, corporates do not support, because at the end of the day, for them to be able to implement such ideas, for them to be able to go into market and action some of these ideas, they need platforms. They need somebody to give them that first step and say, we'll hold your hand and we'll help empower you as you build and as you grow your entrepreneurship or as you grow your side hustle, right? So what we've identified is also the lack of information. I know the idea that I have as a young person, I want to start, this power generation windmill, but where do I go to get the funding? What government resources are available for me out there? What other support, resources are available out there? Because to go into entrepreneurship is not just a matter of a young person waking up and deciding to do it. There's a lot of factors that are involved. You need to have that financial, understanding or knowledge. You need to have that marketing agility in order. We live in digital times. How do you position yourself in such a way that you create a market for yourself in industry? And, this is across, and as you said, because we touch across South and East Africa. And this is something that, we've identified through a lot of young people that we've engaged with. Some of them who have come back to give us feedback to say, since I've gone through maybe this program and that program, what I've been able to turn around is how I approach investors that will come onto my business, or how I manage my financials in my business. So that is why the critical skills here sometimes is not necessarily faith about corporates, taking out millions of rands and giving them to these young people. The critical thing here is corporates opening up the conversation and saying, this is what you need to get your foot into the door, and this is how you go about it. And that is literally, what we are trying to achieve and what we are trying to do with the Alliance partners.
Noxolo, much appreciated for your time this morning. Youth lead of Nestlé East and Southern Africa, Noxolo Mnisi, just giving us the latest of some of these opportunities that are available for young people.